To see if maybe his Thresh is the champion that he's had the most practice on. He's an incredibly strong Thresh player, but in a 1v1 situation, not necessarily a champion you expect to see. We're going to check out the picks, not the picks, the masteries before we do so, and I guess fairly standard here. We should see the armor standard, the magic resistance also going to have flat MR, but I believe that is actually 15 ability power here picked up on Picaboo, so he is going to have a little bit of an extra offensive punch to his early game.
Alright, I'm down for that. It's, more raw damage is never bad, unless you're giving up like a lot of health, but other than that, it shouldn't be that bad. Jeez, 21-9 too. Like a lot of aggressive builds from the Korean teams here. No full out defense, no full out like utility or anything like that. Just I'm playing 1 versus 1. I am gonna hit you as hard as possible.
And this is AD masteries, so it'll be interesting to see what direction Picaboo wants to go here. More interesting is going to be MaRin. We'll see what he wants to do here this time around with Lissandra. You can see, I believe that is. Whoa,
ability power?
Yeah, so it's
armor, ability power, mana? No, that's hybrid pen.
Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. Of course, he's split those runes up a little bit more differently than you'd expect, but you get the idea. It's gonna be fairly. Wait, what is this mastery page? So he's
some right clicks too.
Yeah, he's put that point into spell weaving, so he's gonna have that. No blade weaving because he put that into, like you said, the right clicks. He's gonna have that spell blade passive for a little bit of extra oomph from his ability power on his just his auto attacks.
All right, guys, welcome back to what potentially could be the last game between MaRin and Picaboo. Picaboo picking up his Thresh, MaRin going with the Lissandra again. I'm Egad. Joining me here is gonna be Rapid, and yeah, we're on to the rift, ready to go.
Yeah, like you said, what could be our last game of the series? It is a Doran's Blade start for Picaboo, but I don't know. Is AD Thresh the answer?
I mean, he's not going to be able to sustain that much. His physical right-click damage isn't that high. The flame magic damage won't proc like lifesteal or anything like that. Jeez, this is so weird.
Well, as long as he doesn't teleport to a minion as soon as he walks into lane, I think he'll be in a better position than he was in game number 1.
Yeah, you'd be surprised.
Well, maybe. That's entirely Picaboo's attempt here, standing in the bush right beside that mid lane, looking for a maybe a surprise of his own. If MaRin walks a little bit too far outwards, gets that sentence in there, and of course, well, I guess he gets flayed in there. That is the skill that Picaboo has chosen to skill up first.
Okay. Let's see. Once the creeps get over here, it's the lanes. It shouldn't be too bad. But they're just playing really passive, kind of trying to see if anyone ever extends just a little bit, just to get a little bit of information to see where the opponent is. And why is Lissandra glowing there? That's weird. It's just shining.
It's because of her passive. Means that she can clear.
Oh yes, a free spell. A free spell, or is it half cast?
No, it is a free spell. Of course, it happens every so often. There's actually like an 18-second cooldown between when it happens, but you can lower that by impairing the movement of enemies around you. So anything you do that impairs their movement gets you closer to more free spell casts. And of course, a lot of mana, of course, from those Total Biscuits of Rejuvenation. Doran's Ring thrown in there as well for good measure. And AD Thresh keeping up in CS, but I don't know. We're just see if it's the answer here for MaRin. What does AD Thresh have that other AD carries do not? And I think the answer is probably
nothing.
Crowd control. I don't know of any AD carry that has quite as much CC as Thresh does, but ultimately you're supposed to be getting on towards killing the guy, which of course support champions may have a slightly difficult job doing.
I mean, once he tries the death sentence and it actually does hook, then he can't right click. So that's another thing to keep a watchful eye out for. And already MaRin's getting some good damage here into the tier 1. This is Thresh, wow, actually flashing and looking for the death sentence, forcing MaRin's flash out too. That was rather ballsy. This is a really interesting play.
You know, the interesting play for me here for Picaboo is both the decision to go for Thresh and, you know, the decision on how to play this lane. A lane mechanic, something that top laners are very, very well versed in, and while duo laners know exactly where they need to position the wave for their AD carries, when you have to focus on everything all by yourself, all for yourself, you kind of lose maybe a little bit of that extra advantage. You can see, even just a teleport here, wait a second, MaRin TP'd to a minion instead of to a turret that gives you 1 minute less on the cooldown, so,
Whatever, man, he does not care.
yeah, he is just looking to get as quickly as he can back in the lane, and look at this damage down being put onto the turret. He won game number 1 with a turret kill, looking for game 2 as well. Minion wave lasting just long enough for MaRin to get out of that death sentence alive and unscathed.
Ignite comes in. Alright, they get the play back. Uh-oh, MaRin's dead.
Wait, what?
Interesting.
And that was off of teleporting back into lane. We're gonna watch this again. They play him back in. There's the death sentence, and he's still not actually dead. We're skipping forward maybe just a little.
No, we're skipping back here.
Okay, we're skipping backwards just a little bit. There's the ice claw forward. He's shoving this wave underneath the turret. Keep in mind, this is just after teleporting back in. There's the play. You're gonna see the death sentence hit as well, and at this point the trade isn't actually all that bad for MaRin, but here's where it goes from bad to worse here. Gonna slow him down there. There's the ignite. One more auto attack is kind of all it takes there. A play passive off of being played backwards itself is just gonna keep him from running away. Last auto attack there for Picaboo, and you know, forgive me for I've sinned. It's game number 2 that goes to Picaboo off of an AD Thresh matchup versus Lissandra.